Fine.
And it started mine just now. Okay, and we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Arknolia and the doctor here. And we have a special guest with us, Minnesota Silver Roll Hunter from Real as Fuck TV, my other program there, which I wasn't able to be a part of this past Thursday because of the my work schedule there. And we'll welcome in once again to our program. He was here before, so it was nice to have him here again. What's up, Silver Roll Hunter?
Not much, brother. Not much. Just sitting here enjoying the warmer weather that we're having here up in Minnesota.
Wow, good. It got warm again, thank goodness.
Yeah, it's like in the 50s right now.
It's warm here just as well, man. It's been pretty good. I'm hoping pretty sometime soon will be a lot more warmer than I expected. I know for a couple of days back on the last before the weekend, it was very warm, which you didn't have to wear a jacket out there. I'm hoping to be like that later on this coming week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually, it's been that way here.
I
I've gone
know
without
it's
a
like
jacket the 2 or 3 times I've got out.
Yeah, no, it's pretty good there. That's the best kind of weather. I think we all agree at this point.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely there. All
Oh
right,
yeah.
so yeah, yeah. So I didn't get a chance. So I guess what I understand, the let me find it here. There we go. Let me get this here. Blah blah blah. Oh yeah. So you heard about the notifications here. The U.S. Senate passes the 1.9 trillion COVID relief bill there.
Yeah, so hopefully it'll be rolling out sometime soon.
Yes, in the U.S. it says here, according to let's see here, C-SPAN 2 there, the U.S. Senate concluded a marathon voting session on this past Saturday, which is today, passing President Biden's 1.9 trillion COVID-19 relief bill. 50-49. The vote wrapped up days long process of debate and deliberation over the relief package. The measure now returns to the House of Representatives for another vote this coming Tuesday. So hopefully things will be a lot better than what the let me get hopefully we should get this some money pretty soon here. So well, because we all need it right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be nice.
Yeah, it'll be good. So because that was one of the big reasons why I wasn't able to get it because of what's going on in the Congress. There, all that bullshit talking here and there. So are we ready, guys? Are we ready, Arg, for
Sure.
the continue our list? Okay,
Ready to
let's do
rock
it.
and roll, brother.
Let's
Okay,
do
we're
it,
going to start
guys.
with the R's.
Hmm.
And my first band on the list is, I think, more of a 70s band, but if we get to the 70s, I'll probably forget them if I don't mention them now.
Uh-huh.
Rare Earth.
I've heard that name many times before. They were like it was kind of like a different version of Chicago, if I would correct, or or
Actually,
maybe mistaken.
they were kind of like a white soul group. Uh,
Ah, I see. Yeah.
they did I Know I'm Losing You,
Yeah,
uh,
which I think
which you need to play because it's good. It lasts about 8-10 minutes, something like that.
oh wow. Is this the version that the Temptations originally did back in the Motown era?
I believe so, yeah.
I
And the
remember
song you
lots.
probably heard if you ever find it is a song called I Just Want to Celebrate.
Yes, I've heard that many, many times. It's been used in many commercials here and there.
Yep.
It's been yep, I
And
have
another
heard
thing
that.
about that group that's interesting is their drummer was their lead singer.
Oh, really
Yeah.
interesting. Because
Not many of
very
those.
few, I know very few. The only one I remember was Gil Moore, who was the drummer for the Canadian trio Triumph back in the early '80s. There, he sang. He was a good drummer, and he sang some good songs just as well, like um, "Nature's Child" and a couple others as well.
Yeah, and actually, Don Henley with the Eagles was a
That's
drummer
right.
when he started.
Uh, Absolutely,
And we
that's
all know
true
about
as
Karen
well.
Carpenter.
Yep. That's true. Yeah.
And there are probably others, but those are the ones I know about.
Yeah. Mostly the drummers in the back are usually either sing backup vocals or time and time again, but that was about it.
Yeah, well, Phil Collins moved from the drums to the lead
That's right.
vocals.
but he also did went back to the drums occasionally when it came to the Genesis recordings, his recordings, and a couple other people's recordings as well, like Howard Jones, the remix of what's that? No One Is to Blame. There was a version of that song which Collins not only played drums on but also sang backup vocals on the lyrics there.
Yeah, and the part that's interesting, well, he was a phenomenal drummer, actually.
Yeah, and he is, and when you look at it now, he is how he is nowadays. It's absolutely sad.
Yeah,
He did this comeback tour about a year or so ago, but he had to do it sitting down, because he had to walk with a cane and stuff because of this
right.
nerve condition that he had for some reason there.
Hmm.
In fact, but he one time told it was on a radio interview saying he was having trouble holding his drumsticks a couple of times, and he
Wow.
one time mentioned while doing some recording he had to duct tape his drumstick to his hand a lot of times there.
Gosh.
Yeah. So it's very sad. So, and here I am, as an old prog rock fan from in my teens, I was hoping to see the original Genesis get back together, to do a tour possibly, with Peter Gabriel and
Yeah.
Steve Hackett included. But sadly, it's going to be kind of awkward without Phil Collins participating, unless he's going to join in only on vocals on the songs that he sang on.
Yeah, that would be an interesting thing. See what they
Yeah.
do.
Or maybe they could share vocals, him and Peter Gabriel, on a few tracks there, like they do with Kaja Gugu when they got back together.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, I got a question. Is Rare Earth the band that sang that song? I just want to celebrate,
Yep.
celebrate, listen
Yeah.
to the music.
Yep.
No,
that's
not that
it.
version.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Oh, it's
The
not
other one's
that version?
I just want to celebrate another day of living. I just want to. It's the one you're talking about is by Kool and the Gang, I think.
Oh,
I see. You corrected me on that one there.
Yeah, but that's a song. If you heard it, you'd know it. It's one of those kind of
Right.
songs.
I see.
interesting.
Okay, my first list is going to be with the Rascals, who used to be the Young Rascals, and they dropped the Young.
Yeah, so we know a couple of their songs. Good Lovin',
Well, we'll get to them.
Yep.
My number 10 is a song called Come On Up. My number 9 is I Ain't Gonna Eat Out My Heart Anymore.
Remember hearing that as well.
Number 8 is Good Lovin'.
Hmm.
Number 7 is a song called It's Wonderful, and it's a pretty cool song, actually.
Yeah.
Number 6 is Groovin'.
Remember that song as well there.
Number 5 is You Better Run. I think Pat Benatar covered that song.
Yes, I remember hearing about that. Yes, I remember hearing that version. In fact, that was the second video that MTV Verse played after the Buggles video killed the radio star, from what I remember reading.
Yeah. Number 4 is A Girl Like You. Number 3 is How Can I Be Sure? And then number 2, I got It's a Beautiful Morning. And number 1, I'm pretty sure everybody's heard before. People Gotta Be Free.
I don't think I heard that one.
Oh, you'd know it if you heard it.
All right.
It's one of those songs. A lot of these songs are songs that you may not know until you actually play them and you go, oh, yeah, I remember that
I
song.
see. I see
And
that.
that's one of those. Okay, next one I had on my list was Ray Charles, but we went over him.
Yeah.
So the Rascals, they had that song "Beautiful Morning," right?
Yes.
Okay.
I
Great
remember
little
hearing
song,
the
actually.
Yeah, I remember hearing snippets on radio on a commercial for a Canadian station called CKLOW when they were advertising while in Michigan there.
Yeah. A lot of these songs end up on commercials. I can't. It's
Yep.
just the way it is.
Yep. I remember there was this program, I forgot, it was hosted by John Sebastian of the Loving Spoonful. It used to come on late at nights. I guess it was either Sunday nights or Saturday nights. And these were videos for songs that came out before the video H. So they were making videos with featuring actors like Harry Dean Stanton, um, do a video for the song "Whiter Shade of Pale" by Procol Harum.
Right.
And one of the videos that they had featured the cast of the TV program Saint Elsewhere. It was one of the singers from the Rascals for a video for the song "Good Lovin'."
Wow.
Yeah.
Third on my list, well, third. Next one, let's do that, is actually a novelty singer, but he's actually not bad. Ray
Yeah.
Stevens.
I heard of this guy just as well, man.
Yeah, let's see. He did things like Ahab the Arab.
Mm.
He did The Streak.
Oh yeah, I remember that song.
Oh, let's see what else. Guitar Zan.
Mm.
He was big in the novelty thing.
Yes, I remember the streak was about a guy who ran around the area butt ass naked,
Yeah,
which was at that time was called streaking,
right,
which is also illegal, by the way.
right.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think Ray Stevens also did that "Turn Your Radio On"
Yes,
and "Misty" or something like that.
right. He did
Mm.
Misty and Turn Your Radio. Both of those are non-novelty songs, and they're both
All
pretty
right,
decent.
all right, interesting there.
Let's see. We already talked about those two.
All right,
Man, I'm gonna have to start writing in English.
all right. Well,
What were you writing in Russian or?
Righteous Brothers. Oh my,
Oh,
that's a
my
great duo. Their
ah,
big
God.
one was
Love.
their big one was You Lost That Loving Feeling.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, oh yeah, the Righteous Brothers.
Yeah, and then
All
Bill
right.
Medley. Was
Of
it the
course,
other guy?
I forgot the guy's name, but I know the other guy was deceased. Or let me look it up there.
Yeah,
Right.
they did he did Unchained Melody
Yes.
with the other guy, Bobby Hatfield.
Bobby Hatfield. Yeah. Rest in peace. He passed away a couple years back there, and leaving Bill Medley on his own. And of
Yeah,
course, we cannot forget Bill Medley doing that song with Jennifer Warnes. I had
right.
the time of my life back in 1987. There.
From
There,
Flashdance.
there, there, no, it was
Oh
Dirty
no, the other one. Yeah,
Dancing.
Dirty Dancing. I knew it
Yeah,
had something to do with dancing.
with Jennifer Grey when she looked like Jennifer Grey, and the late great Patrick Swayze.
Yeah, yeah.
Nobody puts "Baby" in the corner.
Yep, I remember that. Yeah, and also I think I also remember that movie also started actor Jerry Orbach, who later played Detective Lenny Briscoe on the original Law and Order, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
Right.
And wasn't the father John Lithgow
Of who? Baby.
of the
Who?
girl,
Let me
the
find
one that
out.
was the one that was trying to stop any kind of dancing?
Hmm. Let
I've
me
only
look
seen the
it up
movie
here.
once, so I don't know.
Well, it's been a while. I never really saw the movie myself, so it was a romantic. Let's hear here. Blah blah blah. And the stars here. It should be coming up on the Wikipedia here. All right, here. All right, the cast. Okay, Patrick Swayze, Jennifer Grey, Cynthia Rhodes, Jerry Orbach, uh, Jack Brucker, Jane Brucker, Jack Westman, Lonnie Price, Kelly Bishop. I don't see
Okay.
what's the guy. Okay, so it was just the main ones we know were Cynthia Rhodes, Grey, Swayze, and Orbach. That
Yeah,
was the main
I
ones.
was wrong.
Yes.
I
Okay, there.
was doing that from memory.
All right. I know we had that had that happen a couple times there.
Yeah. Next guy I got's another novelty singer,
Yes.
Roger Miller.
Oh yeah, I've heard that name many times before there.
Dang Me, Chug-a-Lug,
Mm,
You Can't Roller Skate in a Buffalo Herd.
mm.
Oh, what else is it? Let's see. Kansas City Star.
Mm.
That's What I Are.
That's what I are.
Yeah, that's why he sang it. Had to rhyme, you know.
Oh, okay.
And England Swings
Mm.
and King of the Road, which I'm pretty sure you've heard.
I may have not. I'm not too sure myself there.
Next one, I don't know how you classify them. The Royal Guardsmen.
Oh, I don't think I've heard of this group
They're
there.
the ones that did Snoopy versus the Red Baron.
Oh my goodness, I remember hearing that for so many years back. I forgot the name of the group there.
Yeah,
Wow, it's interesting.
yeah, they had a whole album that was darn near different stories about Snoopy, the Red Baron.
I
I
know
mean,
that's probably one of the biggest storylines of all the Charlie Brown comics back in the day. You know, Snoopy
yeah,
pretending that he was a fighter pilot during World War II, going after the cursed Rare Baron.
yeah,
No, that was
Awesome.
one of the great, and that was one of the great ones next to Lucy Van Pelt pulling the football away from Charlie Brown prior to him kicking it.
right. And he
Hmm
always landed on his back.
Bam!
Yeah.
I know.
Next one I get is Sam and Dave.
Oh yeah, Sam Moore and Dave. What's his face there? I forgot.
Oh
Dang,
shoot, I don't remember.
neither do I remember. But I know that during the '80s, there, I guess the Stars on 45, project decided to do their version of selected Sam and Dave songs there into one of the little non-stop melodies here and there.
Yeah,
And what they did, and meanwhile, however, this inspired and here's the thing, this was a new Sam, not the original Sam Moore.
right.
And Sam Moore was not too happy about it. He was like, "No, Dave, no, don't do this." But Dave felt like he wanted to make some money and all that stuff, and decided, and he ended up getting sued by Sam Moore for this.
Wow.
And Dave died, and I guess Dave died in some what year believe it was, and it was a couple of years after Sam Moore said he would never work with the guy ever again.
Well, that held out to be true.
And
So
that's
Sam and Dave,
true.
are they the ones that sang Soul Man?
That is correct.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Hold
Do,
on, I'm
do, do,
coming.
do, 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 Soul Man.
And I think they had a couple other songs from them as well, if I
Oh,
remember.
you could come up with 8 or 10 pretty easily.
Oh yeah.
I think they did Hold On, I'm Coming.
Oh yeah, I think so. Yeah. Hmm. Uh, they were like one of the top dual acts singing around that period of time that they were together there. I've seen some footage of them on a documentary, and they were doing lots of crazy stuff on stage.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Some of the people did some crazy stuff.
Yeah, but then that was part of the showmanship. That was part of the that's what kind of like that was to them was what rock and roll is all about. Acting like a lunatic on stage there.
Yeah, and actually, in that vein, look up Roy Head, Treat Her Right, and look at the stuff he does.
Roy Head, Treat Her Right.
Yeah,
Hmm.
pretty big song, actually, but he
Hmm.
did some crazy stuff on stage.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm looking up it right now, and I guess let's see here. What happened to Roy Head? Who wrote the song Treat Her Right here? What happened? Head is going through self-health issues, including a stroke in 2016. He went under surgery for a ruptured aorta, aorta in the same year.
Aorta.
He died after aorta. Thanks. He died in a heart attack in 2020 in September of that year in his home in Porter, Texas, at the age of 79.
Wow.
Wow, man. He's a
But yeah,
Texas native, I
yep,
guess.
yep. On YouTube, they'll look up him doing Treat Her Right, because especially during the break, he does stuff
Hmm.
that's almost like pre-break dancing.
All right, there. I'll definitely do that. And by the way, cover versions of that song were done by Bruce Springsteen at the East Street Band, The Commitments in 2007 there, and also by George Thorogood and the Destroyers.
Yeah,
All right, let's look it up there. I of course have to keep the volume down, of course, as always, because copyright stuff here, and I see him right now there.
we actually need to hear a little bit of that song because it's a pretty
Well,
decent song.
I can only I can only play it only could come through on my end there, and I'm seeing him dancing there. It's kind of like James Brown when you think about it there.
Yeah, I mean, he does some incredible stuff.
All right, I got the volume queued up a little bit there, so I'm able to see it here and hear it just a little bit there. And you're right, he does do some interesting moves on there on that little spot there.
Yeah,
Yeah, and like I said, this is like it could be the white James Brown.
yeah.
And we
This
just
is
seen
the
him.
early to mid '60s.
Mm, wow, interesting, very interesting. So the Godfather, so I guess had some white competition. I guess you could say there.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm,
Next one
all
I got
right
is
there.
Sam the Sham and the Pharaohs, which I think we talked
Uh,
about. Their biggie was Wooly Bully.
Wooly Bully, yes, I remember that song, man. That was like a big hit that still gets played to this very day, believe it or not,
Yeah,
on the oldies stations there across the country.
and
Oh
another,
yeah, woolly bully,
yeah,
woolly bully,
and
And I
an,
woolly
remember,
bully.
and we also, I remember, it was also featured in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Some band and some sort of a high school dance was doing that song. Sean Penn as Spicoli, his character, says, "I know this song." He gets on stage and joins along on the vocals.
another one he did that was big was Little Red Riding Hood,
Ah,
and he did a lot of other not as big minor hits. Songs that
hmm
bubbled but didn't get there.
ah,
But next one I got is a one-hit wonder, but you'll know the song, I think. Scott
yes.
McKenzie.
Oh yeah, the song "San Francisco."
Yep. Be sure to wear
Yes,
flowers in your hair.
yes. I mean,
That's a hit
if you,
song, sure.
Yeah,
yeah,
but that's the only one he had. Kind of
yeah,
weird.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
kind of weird. Yeah, what was the deal with that? They had one song and they drop off the face of the planet. Did the companies feel that the other stuff he was writing weren't up to par as the hit song, or
Well,
did you
people
just
weren't
figure,
buying them,
okay,
I suppose.
I guess, who
Yeah.
knows? No, I should probably look him up there and see what happened with him, because I was thinking about that song myself there. There it is, Scott McKenzie. It should be coming up pretty soon. It takes a while on my stupid computer here. All right, so he was an American singer, songwriter. He was known for the song um, "San Francisco," and apparently, what it hears here, blah blah blah. Uh, let's see here. He was also. It was a hit single. It was a generational anthem,
Right.
and apparently here is he died in August 2012 at the age of 73 in Los Angeles. And he
Wow.
had suffered from a thing called Guillain-Barré syndrome from 2010 until his death. And I knew this kind of strikes me now because someone I used to know back in Michigan had that condition. It
Wow.
is a rapid onset muscle weakness caused by the immune system damaging the peripheral nervous system. Both sides of the body are involved, and the initial symptoms are changes in sensation or pain, often in the back, along with muscle weakness, beginning in the hands and feet, spreading to the arms and other body, and the symptoms may develop over hours to a few weeks. Wow. It can be life-threatening. About 15% of people developing weaknesses of the breathing muscles and therefore requiring mechanical ventilation.
Wow.
Some are often affected by changes in the function in the autonomic nervous system, which can lead to dangerous abnormalities in the heart rate and the blood pressure. The
Hmm.
cause is still unknown to this very day. Wow. It's like you
It was
cannot move, you need help blowing your nose, getting the food fed into you, let alone having your ass wiped.
Oh boy. That sounds like so much fun.
I know it is. A girl that I had that I used to crush on back in the early 90s there, came down with it hard for about a year and a half. For a while she was able to move a little bit better around 1994, but she had to use a cane I remember picking her up to see an interview with the vampire around that year.
Mm. Wow.
Wow, man.
Okay, next one I got is a group called the Seeds with Sky
This
Saxon.
see. Mm,
Their song,
interesting.
they were almost a one-hit wonder. Their song was "Pushing Too Hard."
Oh,
If you hear it, you'll know it.
all right, definitely. I'll definitely look it up there.
The next one I got on the list is "The Shadows of Night," which we've already covered. Chicago band that had a lot of big hits.
And that was the band called Shadows of the Night. Because when I first heard that title of that group name, first thing I thought was the Pat Benatar song of the same name. And that
Right.
came out, I guess, in 82, 83.
Right.
Yes, and we're running with the shadows of the night.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. Next one I got's a female group, the Shangri-Las.
And we remember that group, yes.
Leader of the Pack.
Yep, which
And
his sister covered back in 1986.
then
It
you got,
wasn't too big.
remember, Walking in the Sand, which Aerosmith covered.
Yes, I remember that pretty much very, very well. That was a big hit on the radio when that record came out, Night in the Ruts.
Yeah. Then we got Shocking Blue.
And we know that's the song they did. The original Venus, which Bananarama did in also in 1986.
And these group, they couldn't speak English, so they sang the song phonetically.
Oh, wow. Interesting. And I imagine, were they from Sweden, I guess?
You know what? I don't remember. It was that
Let me
area,
look.
but I don't remember exactly where.
All right, let me look it up on the Wikipedia. Okay, let's see here. Coming up there, it was a Dutch rock
Dutch,
band
okay.
formed in 1967. You know, and of course, her name was Mariska Vers. And did she speak English? She could not speak English and was singing phonetically.
Right.
This was the reason for the occasional stumble over the lyrics, such as the open line of the song Venus, Godness on the mountaintop.
Well, it's funny because a lot of people said it sounded like she was singing, "I'm your penis."
Oh,
Oh,
but then again, that comes along with it. I mean, remember the misconception over the first one of the lyrics of Purple Haze?
Oh yeah, excuse me while I kiss this guy.
Yeah, that's what I first heard when that's what I thought when I first heard it, man.
And it was like,
And sad,
what?
I know it's like, damn, you're feeling so whacked out, you're gonna kiss some dude that next to you, jeez. And sadly, Vers died from gallbladder cancer in December 2nd in
Wow.
2006 at age 59, 3 weeks after she'd been detected with the disease, sadly.
Hmm,
dang.
Hmm.
that's quick.
I know, sadly.
Yeah. Next one I got some a relatively famous couple of a duet that you've probably heard of. Simon and
Okay.
Garfunkel.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, the boxer, Sounds of Silence.
I got a list for
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
My number 10 with them was a song called Faking It.
Mm.
Uh, Number 9, Leaves That Are Green, Turned Around.
Hmm.
Number 8 is The Boxer.
Great song.
Oh, yeah.
Great song. I remember hearing that. I was working at a Kroger in around in Richmond, Michigan, around between 2004 to 2007. And whenever I heard that song, it made me remind me of when Dad, my mom, my sister, and me was driving around in the family car, and Dad had his 4-track playing there. And when I think
Where'd you
winter
go?
time in areas of Detroit, parts of Detroit here. And it just reminds me of that exact when the snow found on the city streets there. You're walking around, observing everything around you. That's what comes to mind when I hear the boxer
Yeah,
doing Simon
songs.
and
That's the
Garfunkel.
other thing
Yeah,
that's cool about music, is they will bring back memories. What was I
yeah,
doing when that song?
like
That sort of thing.
you know, yeah. So for another example would have to be "Little Genie" by Elton John,
Oh
because
yeah,
that song was big. Because for my birthday, my mom took me to this place in around the St. Clair Shores area. It was a little beach area, and I remember always got out on the water there, all the people there around you,
right.
and then for some reason, I heard "Little Genie" by Elton John playing on the nearby radio there. So whenever I heard that song years afterward, it reminded me of that particular day there.
Yeah, yeah. Number seven, I got Hazy Shade of Winter.
Oh yeah, which chorus is by yep, which the Bangles covered in 1987 there for
Right.
the movie Less Than Zero. Have you ever heard that? Saw that movie, Super?
Which one is that, brother?
It's Less Than Zero. It came out in 1987. It had Jamie Gertz, Andrew McCarthy, and Robert Downey Jr.
Possibly.
Yeah.
I don't remember it, but
Well, it was based on a novel. It's about rich kids in the Hollywood era, Hollywood, Hollywood, California scene there. Getting wasted, doing drugs and everything else, and one of them dies of an overdose.
Mm.
Yeah.
okay.
The movie itself was less than
Was it pretty
zero.
good?
Yeah, it was pretty interesting, but you know what? It made a lot of sense. There was a lot of discussion about the movie there. About the concept. It was a drama based on Bret Easton Ellis. It
Mm.
was a novel of the same name. It was about a college freshman returning home for the Christmas to spend time with his former girlfriend Blair, played by Jamie Gertz, and his friend Julian, Robert Downey Jr., who at that time, when he comes back, is a full-blown drug addict.
Wow.
The film, the film presents a look at the culture of wealthy, decadent youth in the Los Angeles area. There, it received mixed reviews among critics. Ellis hated the film intentionally, but later viewed it as softened. He insisted that the film bears no resemblance to his novel and felt it was miscast with the exception of James Spader and Robert Downey Jr.
Mm.
Yeah. And there was a lot of talk about amongst the critics and journalists saying, do kids were born with silver spoons in their mouth ended up putting it up their noses
Having
as
silver
well?
rolls up their noses.
Silver spoons.
Number six, I got El Condor Pasa. If that's not familiar, that song goes with "I'd rather be a hammer than a nail." Yes, I would.
Mm.
Yes, I would.
Uh, yes, because you're rather doing the pounding than being pounded on. That's for sure.
Yeah. I
Not like
mean,
bullfrog.
yeah.
Yeah,
Number five is "Sounds of Silence."
yeah. Which
Love that
have you
song.
ever heard? Yeah, it is. Have you ever heard Disturbed's cover of that version from a couple years back?
No, I haven't.
Oh man, I'm Silbera. Have you heard that version as well?
No, I haven't.
Oh, a friend of mine at my old workplace, he used to play his cover version of it. He told me about it, and I heard it a few times. It was very dramatically with the orchestra arrangement and
Wow.
everything there. Yeah, it was so definitely worth. It is definitely worth checking out. He made it like they made it basically more dramatic than the original there.
Well, see, that's the reason they do these. I might tell you about stuff way back and obscure
Yeah.
stuff because I really get into that. And you'll tell me
Yes.
about the more recent stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, number four I got is "I Am a Rock."
Yep. Heard that one as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Number three, "Homeward Bound." Number two, "Scarborough Fair Canticle."
Ah, nice.
And my number one is "Bridge Over Troubled Water," which that was bass
Classic.
and
Classic.
basically an Art Garfunkel number. I mean, he's
Oh
the one
yeah.
that, I mean, it was the Simon and Garfunkel number, but That was Art Garfunkel's version. A Time to Shine.
It was. It was like, because remember, the arrangement that that song had was just phenomenal. The way the snare drum is way in the background and then
Yep.
slowly is mixed into the final final verse there,
Yeah.
and the way the snare drum sounded, it was like with a big echo there. The orchestra arrangement as well. It's basically also a song about being there for someone in their time is a need.
Right. Right.
You
It's a
know,
great song, and it's definitely worth a listen.
absolutely. If
Is that
anybody
that
who's
bridge over broken waters
correct,
Trouble.
that is was Troubled Water. Yeah.
or troubled waters?
Yes, that's the name one. That's
Yeah,
it.
I remember hearing that.
Yeah, that was like very emotional song to listen to at times.
Yeah. Next one I got's a Texas band,
Mm.
and I think we've talked about them. The Sir Douglas Quintet.
Yes, I remember seeing them on the program Fridays back in the early 80s.
Their biggie was She's About a Mover,
Mm. Interesting.
but they had others. But
Yeah.
that's the one most people have heard before.
I remember there was art. I mean, I remember there was a magazine called. There was a magazine I used to read called Cream
Right.
Magazine.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Yes, and they did a couple articles on that band as well when they made came back in the early '80s. There,
Yeah.
formed in San Antonio in 1964 with their first big hits. They were acclaimed in their home state. Let me go out there. Blah blah blah. When their career was established, was to working with Texas record producer Huey. What's his name? Huey Mouse. Meaux.
I don't know
Um,
him, Moss, though.
I I know I never heard of this guy. They relocated to the West Coast. Their move coincided with the burgeoning San Francisco psychedelic rock scene in the mid 1960s to the 1970s.
Yeah.
The quintet were exponents of good times music with strong blues and roots, Texas traditions in their music.
Mm-hmm.
And their frontman was Doug Sam,
Right.
Sahm.
HM.
Yep.
Good band. A lot of pretty decent songs.
Interesting. Like yeah. They
Next one.
played.
Go
He
ahead.
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, as I was going to say here, according to the guy's stats, he had played at age 11 on stage with the country music legend Hank Williams Sr.
Wow.
Wow.
Interesting. And a friend of mine back in Michigan, he's a big fan of Hank Sr. when you think about it there. So should be interesting. Maybe he could probably get into this group pretty on. He's
Yeah,
already
but
got
they don't sound
Charlie
anything
Patton.
like country.
Yeah, I know. But he has a big appreciation for artists from the 60s and from the 50s and bluegrass, country music, jazz.
Right.
And also he has a big appreciation for that. And here's the thing. He just turned 18 years old.
Mm.
It was his uncle that turned him on to that stuff.
Wow. Okay, next one I got's a one-hit wonder.
Mm-hmm.
It's a group by the name of Smith.
Smith. And we know that song.
Wasn't it Baby It's You?
Oh, because I'm thinking of the other Smith that appeared on the Easy Rider soundtrack. How stupid of me.
Well, I don't know. It might be the same group.
Who knows?
Female singer?
Maybe it'll be. Oh, okay. Never forget. Because I was thinking about the band when they recorded under the Smith name for that particular soundtrack.
Oh, okay. Next one I got's another duo, male-female. Sonny and Cher.
Oh my goodness gracious! Who hasn't grown up watching their TV show years later?
Yeah, and they had a lot of pretty large hits. Biggest one was I Got You, Babe.
Yep. Which Cher later did with the Beavis and Butthead in the 90s.
Yeah.
And like I said, I was a big fan of their show when it was on CBS back in the day.
Yeah, I remember that.
I mean, it was a great show. They had a lot of good stuff, a lot of good skits, a lot of good storylines. You know, Cher really proved himself as an actress as well as a singer as well. You know, Sonny Bono allowed himself to be the blunt of some of the jokes here and there.
Yeah,
And then sadly, their marriage dissolved, and they came back on television, but it wasn't the same. The vibes were not the good. It wasn't the same vibes anymore. You know, and it saddened the
yeah,
hell out of me.
yeah. It was a totally different atmosphere in that show after that.
I know. So they got canceled afterwards. So Cher went on her way there. She would later become an actress and a singer as well, and of course, dance and music diva with that song "Believe."
Yeah,
Yeah, her
Which,
movie career, Mask.
yeah, the movie Mask. Yeah, that was another breakout role for her there.
right. Next one I have is a group called the Sopwith Camel. They did a song called
Which
"Hello, Hello."
with Snoopy going back to the Charlie Brown character, used to call his vehicle to go after the Red Baron. I'm in my Sopwith Camel going after the Red Baron. Ah,
Yeah, but they didn't sing anything about Snoopy.
I know. It was just a band name, but it was a good idea.
Yeah,
But it was an
yeah.
interesting band name. I guess the rule at the time was that you come up with a band name that's the most idiotic and stick to it, you know?
Oh, there was a lot of that in the '60s.
There was a lot of that. Yeah, I know.
Next one I got is Soul Survivors. They did a
Hmm.
song called Expressway to Your Heart and another one called Explosion in My Soul. And they were mostly a sort of a blues rock band, I guess you'd call them.
Uh-huh.
Interesting sound.
Mm.
Then there's Spanky and Our Gang.
Oh yeah, we know that group. They kind of dressed it with the had derbies for hats, I guess it was. Kind of dressed it kind of like
Yeah,
19. I guess it was kind of like the 1920s look they had during their time together. I guess
yeah, they were kind of trying to harken back to the Little Rascals, I think.
pretty much there. Yes, and they had that song. You know, what was the name of that? On
I think a Sunday will never be the
Sunday.
same.
I think it's Sunday.
Will never be the
Sunny Day. I
same.
think it was.
No,
Mm.
Sunday will never be the same.
Oh, because I think it was, they usually play another song from them. And it had
Yeah,
something to do with Sunday. Let me look it up there again. And my list of stuff to look up on Spanky. Wrong one. I spelled it wrong. Dang gummit.
yeah, you'll get the Little Rascals if you're not careful.
Okay, got it. I
Yes.
got it. Yep, it was the Sunshine Pop Band led by Elaine Spanky McFarlane. McFarlane. It got it. It the group got its name from Hal Roach's R Gang comedies from the 1930s,
Right.
and of course later became the Little Rascals. Now the song they were mostly known for their vocal harmonies. Um, let's see, they have albums like to Get to Know You, Spanking Our Gang
Hmm.
Live. Let's see here. Their list of songs like to get to know Sunday will never be the same. You
Right.
talked about there. Let's see here. There was another one I'm still looking for. Sunny Day, Lazy Day. That's the one I'm thinking of. That's it.
Okay.
There.
Because the
Yeah.
one you were
There.
doing sounded like Sesame Street for a minute.
Oh God.
Hey, okay. Da, 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 da.
See, Silverose got it.
I. There we go, man. All
We might have
right,
mentioned this
definitely
next group earlier, but who knows? Um, Standells, mainly because of the
stand out.
big song "Dirty Water."
Oh yeah, we have talked about that, and it was back then. Was I guess they were a Boston, Massachusetts band because
Right.
of the line Boston, Boston, you're my town, I think it was in the lyrics there.
You're my home.
And I mentioned that you're my home. And I remember there was a band called the Inmates. I told you about it on a few episodes back. I don't know where they're originally from. I think they're from maybe from the UK there. They did their version of that song. It was from a record called First Offense. And they did, instead of that, instead of Boston, it was Detroit. But they did that. I guess they must have did that with other cities as well, because a lot of times they put little edits in the whichever city radio station that was playing the song there. They did the same thing with the Billy Idol's "Hot in the City" a couple times.
Yeah,
Whereas
and I know
in this,
that they did that for the Dallas-Fort Worth area too. Dallas, you're
yep,
my
they
home.
also same thing going back to "Hot in the City" by Billy Idol. They'd be like, instead of New York, they would replace it with Detroit.
Yeah, whatever was
That's how
handy.
they did it. Yep, absolutely. And also, you remember a group called the Michael Stanley Band?
Yeah,
Yeah, by the way, he was the Cleveland music legend. He was the scene of the Cleveland rock scene around the early 80s and 70s, who sadly, I just found out, passed away at the age of 72 there.
mm,
He had this one album called Heartland, and he had another albums called, I guess it was called You Can't Fight Fashion. It was called, the hit single from that album was titled My Hometown, and they would add the name Detroit onto it, even though they're from Cleveland.
yeah. Oh, I hate to keep hearing you say about this person that passed away in their 70s, because as you
Yeah,
remember, I'm 70.
I I know, yeah. So I should probably not mention it for a while there.
Oh no, it's fine. I'm just, it's okay. It happens. It happens
I
to all of us.
Yeah, no, man. I'm planning on to live it as much as I can there. There's still a lot of things I want to do in my time there.
Yeah. Next band we
I,
mentioned during the British invasion, but I don't know how much we talked about them.
mhm.
Status Quo.
I heard of them many times. They're like
They're
legends from in the UK there. Rocking
yeah they
all over the
had
world was one of the big hits.
yeah it's funny because they only had one hit in the USA. Pictures of Matchstick Men,
Ah,
but in Britain they're huge.
I
Lots of
know.
albums, lots of hits. People love them.
I know. It's
It's
like,
really
it's
weird.
the same thing with it's the same thing with another well-known group. And this, well, not necessarily well-known here in the States, but you heard of the name, they're Tragically Hip, correct?
Right.
They're Tragically Hip are like one of Canada's biggest bands. And like, I remember some people, someone from Canada coming over to visit in Detroit asking if they had any Tragically Hip for the DJ to play, and the DJ was like, sorry, we don't have any. And back in Canada, in our home country, that's like a major crime.
Yeah. Yeah. It happens with a lot of groups actually.
Yeah.
They have nothing in the U.S., but they're big in their own country or other countries.
Another example, the Runaways, Joan Jett and Lita Ford's old band. They were massively big in Japan, but here in the States, it was like, yeah, okay, so and so.
Yeah. Next band I got is the Strangeloves, and their claim to fame is they originally recorded, if you can find their version of it on YouTube, "Hang On Sloopy," and
Oh,
other than the singing, it is identical to the McCoys, because basically what
oh
they did
wow.
was they got the song, recorded it, and they said, "Hey, let's get this Rick Derringer guy to sing it." So they
Mm.
kind of redid it and had his voice singing it, and that was the one that was big. But that was
Big
kind
hit
of
there.
yeah, but that was kind of a weird thing.
Rick Derringer, the guy's name, correct?
Yeah,
Because I know Rick Derringer from the song "Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo" from the
right,
'70s. There,
same
that
guy.
was one of his biggest songs. And of course, years later in the '80s, he would be a massive contributor to that famous wrestling album from the 19 when the WWF was in full function, when the wrestling was getting big amongst big pop culture there around that time there. He was one of the big men. And of course, remember the song he did for Hulk Hogan, Real American.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll discuss Rick Derringer when we get to the 70s again because he actually had several big hits.
Yep.
Next one we discussed the Strawberry Alarm Clock.
Yes,
Incense
and Peppermints. Good song from them.
They
I think
actually
that
had
was a
quite a
one-hit
few.
wonder.
No, they
Oh,
had
okay
others,
then.
but they weren't as big. They didn't do as much.
Oh, wow.
Next one I think it's creeping into the 70s, maybe it's still 60s, I don't know. Sugarloaf,
Maybe. Mm.
Green-Eyed Lady.
Sugarloaf. Green-Eyed Lady. I remember hearing that as well a lot of times on the oldie stations there.
And later on they released a song called Don't Call Us, We'll Call You, which is it's a pretty interesting song actually. You ought to find it and listen to it.
Uh-huh.
Next is the Sunshine Company.
Mm.
And
That's the name of the group?
yeah, and they did a song called Happy, but they had another song that they recorded that I don't know if it was released as a single or not, but it's actually a very good song. They did a version of Willie Jean.
Oh. Willie
is-
Jean. That was recorded. And that was recorded originally by who there?
Oh, I'm not sure who the original artist was, but they do
Oh,
a
okay.
fantastic version of that song.
All right. Interesting.
Sometimes you see the title is Sometimes I Think About, which is kind of weird, but that's
All
how
right.
it happens.
All right.
Next one I got is a group called Swingin' Medallions, One Hit Wonder,
All right.
Double Shot of My Baby's Love.
Oh, I heard that one.
Yep, that was their only hit.
Wow.
Really? Wow.
Interesting.
And then I think we talked about the next one, but I'm going to mention it again anyway. Syndicate of Sound. They did a song called Hey Little Girl that had a great jangly 12-string guitar in it.
Oh, wow. Interesting there. I like the name alone. It sounds like a company name when you think about it, or a production name there, promotion group there.
Syndicate of Sound.
The Syndicate of Sound presents DJ Oddball and his and MC what's his face there, live at the Pringle Club in downtown Houston there.
Yeah. And since we've been at this almost an hour, I figured now's the time to go into your other topic.
Oh yeah, the see what you think of this, Cyril. Now, Cyril Hunter, so sadly I may not be able to. Is it possible that possibly we could possibly do Real as Fuck TV when I get home from work on this coming Thursday? Because if you're unable to, I can understand because I work from 12 to 9 on that day there, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, I can talk to my cousin, and I don't think it'd be much of a problem.
Yeah, no, because I feel bad not being involved, but then again, I have my work jobs. If I was able to work in the mornings throughout this coming week, but sadly I won't be able to. So and
the
up
important thing
until
is your
then,
work.
yeah, it's true. Yeah, and my next day off will be this coming Wednesday there. So we'll definitely continue our discussion there. So I'll be working up until Wednesday, and of course Thursday work until 9 p.m. So possibly, hopefully I could be live with the Minnesotas on after I get done from work. And Friday, I work the same time there.
Wednesday we
there.
should be able to finish our journey through the early 60s, and the next step will be the later 60s, more into the origins of metal, psychedelia, prog, and a little underground. We'll start talking about some of that stuff.
Okay, there. Now, I got two topics here, and this is going to be interesting here. Now, this is from Bad Baby, BHAD, last name BHABIE. Now, this we know this girl, Daniel Barogi, the girl that was on the Dr. Phil show with this phrase "catch you outside." How about that? It started as an internet joke, but now she has a recording contract. She is a rapper. She's assigned to Atlantic Records there. She has a lot of his songs that are on, I guess, on Spotify and all that stuff, Amazon Music. And she released a new track called Do It Like Me there. Now, she's about to turn 18 pretty soon there. She's already got tattoos and all of that stuff.
Uh,
And on this past January 17th, she was tweeting out all this stuff here. And I guess some people are still looking on as her. They're looking down on her as a troublemaker, a bad youth, a bad influence to the girls and young boys and girls out there today. And it starts with this particular tweet that she put it out here. It says here, I see why people who get ridiculous amounts of pointless hate kill themselves. It's literally traumatizing how badly people who don't even know me speak on me and how evil they do it. Millions of people hate me like they personally know me or like I did something to them. It's
There's a
weird,
lot of that
and
on
I
Twitter.
cannot. Yeah, absolutely. And also, she tweeted out to same something else. People who act like kids, people act like kids who are bad at their 15, 14, or 12 years old. Don't grow up and become be- behaved and decent selves. I know damn half of you was bad as hell when you all were kids, and now you're in your 20s and 30s working as nurses or in a bank. It's really normal life. And here's something else that really I retweeted out last night. She says, I'm judged like I was killing puppies when I was younger. I was just bad, and me and my mom would get into it like any other mother and daughter do. Y'all act like it's not normal to have disagreements with your moms. I wish normal people could get judged by their every move. Now that I can understand that pretty well because I spoke about this story a couple times before on my channel and other couple other programs. I think I mentioned it when we were talking that you and I with Casey is raw on that thing about Carrie White and the subject of bullying.
right.
I was a few guys approached me at this place in Marysville, Michigan. They accused me of being a drug dealer because I had a leather jacket, a leather hat, and the biker boots on that went up to my knees. That was the style back then. And they accused me of being a drug dealer, threatened to kill me if they ever saw me again, didn't give me a chance to speak. They literally ran me out of the place there. And then a couple of days later, I found out that they went after the group that I came to see that night at that spot. It was an all-female group. They called this group sluts, whores, and everything else. They vowed never to come back. But that incident, just left me with a sour taste in my mouth for many years. From that moment on, my outlook towards normal society really went down the shitter.
I can
And I
understand
look,
it.
yeah, because and Subaru, I'm sure you had this happen to you and your cousin a couple of times. There are people you know.
Yeah, we've been, like shit. Yeah, I've been fucked around with once in a while.
Yeah, and I know people I went after. I mean, if you remember a couple of years back, people were going hard on your cousin to the point where he now knows what Tommy NC 2010 was going through. I mean, he had pointed out on the program in that conversation with JB a couple of years ago when they were having a heated discussion on your cousin's program. I think before you joined the show there. I remember hearing about that.
Yeah.
And back he even tried to make amends with Tommy, but Tommy was like, I'm not too sure. I don't know about that. Because you got to remember when someone who picks on you massively goes after you, calls you every name of the book, now is trying to reach out to you, you're going to be cautious because you're going to think they're going to do it again.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I mean, and you also, in a way, I kind of feel what Bergoglio is going through because at that time, because people were assuming her that she was this bad kid, bad influence. It's bad enough we had Britney Spears, bad enough we had Marilyn Manson. It's bad enough we had Ozzy Osbourne. They're telling people to do this, to do that, when it's not really the case. But I don't know, they even went after, of course, the Two Live Crew. Well, of course, we understand why. They were saying, if the kids are going to hear about people having sex, they're going to have sex on themselves, blah, blah, blah. We've seen it multiple times before, But, but she makes out a good point. The people that they're in their 20s or 30s act like they're above everybody else. So they act like they can do no wrong. They act like y'all could forget about the stupid shit that they did as young kids,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did a lot of fucked up shit as a kid. So.
And now what's
We all
worse
did.
with this cancel culture? I know, exactly. I did my share of stupid shit, Sometimes I had to remind myself, not to do other stuff because of the things I did in the past here. Now, she also put in some. Now, Bergoglio, tweeted something else on that same day. Y'all all love to cancel people for the same shit y'all literally do. The only difference is the whole world ain't looking for something to talk bad about, y'all, and for all to nitpick at celebrities. But if someone did that shit to you, you would be pissed. That is also on the dot there. People love to talk shit about other people, whether it's a celebrity or the neighbor down the street. But when other people talk shit about them, they lose their fucking minds.
Yeah.
We've seen that happen many times before. It's like, and the thing I want to know is what compels a person to do that kind of shit?
Yeah, exactly.
What compels it is, are they jealous of that person? Are they angry over the fact that or are the people that's doing this shit talking that bored out of their lives that they need someone to start something or something like that, or
Well, a lot of
or
times it
what the
makes
fuck?
them feel better.
Yeah, that's true. Makes them feel better about themselves for some
Exactly.
reason there, because their life is mostly in them shambles. So they got to take that shit out on somebody else.
Right.
Well, like a lot of bullies, they have like a lot of low respect for themselves. They're depressed. They, think bad of themselves. And they want to spread the pain. So that's why they pick on other people, is to spread the hurt around a little bit.
Make other people feel their pain, basically.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, but the thing is, what the effects, what that will do to the other people that they're going after is going to last with them for a lifetime. I mean, it's no secret that bullying is one of the biggest reasons why we had all these school shootings.
Right.
Well, see, that's what I don't understand there, Dr. Earl. We didn't have that shit back when we were kids.
Neither did we.
Yeah.
No.
But then again, we never heard of the black market. We never heard of people knowing where to get guns and stuff like that. But then again, a lot more things.
5 guns hanging on the wall in his bedroom. He had shotguns and pistols and shit. I mean, I could have fucking grabbed one whenever I wanted.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, you could have had the right, but then again, you had to also think about the consequences. A lot of kids out there today don't think about the consequences. They're thinking about, got to take care of this issue now, today, right now. And they're not thinking about what's going to happen afterwards.
Right.
And it just astounds me that, but the thing is, this is why I stand with the anti-bullying, cause there, because it weighs heavily on the person that's being bullied. It weighs heavily on the victims, because the
Right.
victims would go on their life resentful and angry and hostile towards anybody, because that person's going to be traumatized. They're afraid to allow people to reach out to them. They're afraid to be They're afraid to associate with other people, especially when the normal class people was one who did it to them in the first place. You're going to be anti-normal. You're going to
Right.
be anti regular. You're going to be resentful. Needless to say, and speaking for myself, I was resentful for ages after the incident I spoke about there.
Yeah, that
Because
stuff sticks
remember,
with
I'm
you.
autistic. Yes, and it doesn't go away. You got to have therapy a lot of times, to get over it at least, And despite people telling you, oh, that's in the past, you should let it go. It's kind of difficult to do that as well, because especially when you grew up in an era where if you didn't get even, you were labeled a coward.
So when them guys came up to you and said you're a drug dealer and fucking they're gonna kill you and shit, did you have that fight or flight reflex or?
Fight or flight? No. No, I was mostly trying to explain to them I'm not a drug dealer. I don't even smoke cigarettes. But a lot of times I wasn't able to get a word out because one of the
Right. They're not
guys
going to
kept telling
listen to
me,
you
"Shut
anyway.
up, shut up, shut up, shut up." No, I said, "Shut up," and they're right. They wouldn't let me speak. They didn't want to listen. They only wanted to hear what they wanted to hear, and that was that. And what made me mad even worse is that the ignorance, the passing of judgment that they did, and these are people that are supposed to be Christians, are supposed to be holier, they're supposed to be believers in the good book and the good word of God, but at the same time they're doing this to me, they're doing this to this person there. I mean, come on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, a lot of religious people that go to church every month and every week or whatever.
Yeah,
A lot of them they just go for the show. You know what I'm saying? To
yeah,
wear all their best Sunday clothes. To go hang out to look like part of. Like they're better than they're doing the
everybody
right
else.
thing.
Yeah,
And then after that, I mean, because I know a lot of Catholics in my family,
yeah,
well, in my ex-wife's family, that are fucking total fucking hypocrites that
yep,
fucking can't forgive, can't turn their cheek, can't
yep.
fucking do this, and it's
Forgive
just
and
crazy.
forget.
And I go, don't. I thought you were a religious person. I remember getting in a fight with her mom, and I was like, she's just going off, and I'm like, wow, that's pretty Christian of you.
I know. It's like, too many times. And this is one of the big reasons why people often turn away from Christianity because of the simple fact that they often project themselves as hypocrites. You say, as hypocrites. Because too many times, these, a lot of the Christian Catholics out there who speak up for God, they talk about, they say they don't want to pass judgment, but yet at the same time, they're so quick to condemn someone who happens to be gay or bisexual, even though it's something they cannot help.
Yeah.
They often come up with the theory that, oh, you chose to be gay. I know it was that. Why would you gay when you was living in under our household? Well, Dad, the reason why was because if I told you back when I was living on your household, you would have cut my throat.
Or at least cut my nuts off.
Yeah. Either way, cut something off there.
Yeah.
But that's how, but that's how a lot of these people are. And like I said, and here's another thing I also I had to explain this to my sister one time. She only knows the mainstream rock hits. Like when it comes to Ozzy Osbourne, she only knows Crazy Train. When it
Right.
comes to Judas Priest, it's only Breaking the Law. It's like by like Michelle. You don't know anything about Victim of Changes, also by Judas Priest. There's just like, no, I haven't. Like, that's the thing. You only know the hits that are out there. You only know the mainstream. You need to go deeper. You need to go deeper into the headlines. You need to go deeper into what that person is feeling. You also got to go deeper into what is going on. Well, what makes the person to do this kind of stuff there?
Yeah.
Like with the thing with Britney Spears with around 2007, when she was doing all that crazy shit. People were condemning her left and right for shaving her head, going off in this paparazzi. But then again, at that time, she was releasing some long overdue angst that was all because of all the pressure by both her parents and the record label to not only get rid of Kevin Federline, but also get her to come out with another baby one more time. They want to keep that stuff going on and on and on. And sooner or later, that stress, that pressure is going to come out in the end.
Right.
It's going to come out like fucking gangbusters. And we've seen that happen before. It also happened with Mariah Carey a couple of years earlier, if you remember.
Yeah.
And Miley Cyrus?
Yes, absolutely. Remember, people were expecting her to be like Hannah Montana 24/7, be this squeaky clean image there all the time. And she decided, screw that. You can't be the same person over and over because that gets boring after a while. And it's going to perceive you only as that. And like other child stars, like we don't hardly hear any child stars like Rick Schroeder anymore. So that's when she went all perverted back in the later 2000s, and basically now she's over that, but at the same time she was getting condemned for that, but she was trying to make a new name, a new image for herself, and being in the old image that she was in the previous years before.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So it kind of makes sense, but you know how public perception is,
Right.
I mean, public perception is an absolute killer.
Absolutely.
Sadly, and it's boggling, that people like where it's Daniel Barogi or Mariah Carey, Britney Spears, Miley Cyrus, and any others out there, have to deal with this bullshit.
Yeah.
I mean, which kind of explains why. Often, I think it's also probably when Hulk Hogan became the heel back in 1986. You remember when he joined the NWO when he was still involved with WCW, because people were perceiving him as the all-American, goody two-shoes here and there, especially at a period when all that stuff was like pushed to the side. It was a different scene. It was a different era, but people still perceived him as that image, And
Right.
I guess Hogan had to change that image, Remember, he did say, who's going to be the third man in the NWO? I think it should be me. So I guess, I can say, anybody out there who's getting bullied, being judged by this person, that person out there, our hearts go out to you, man, because
Yep.
we know what it's like.
Stay strong and tough, brothers.
Absolutely. Thank you. All right, so I think that's it for our program today.
Yeah.
I guess it is. And we'll resume this coming Wednesday when I'm off. Like I said, I'll be working tomorrow, Monday, and Tuesday. And Super Bowl Hunter, I thank you for being on with us today.
Absolutely.
Yes, we do. We look forward to tell your cousin we said hello.
Mark
And
Wednesday on your calendar.
Mark Wednesday night, same time, 6 p.m. Central. And feel free to call in, and your cousin just as well, man.
All right. Well, thank you very much, guys, for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, anytime, dude. And also Arknolia, it's good doing the show with you as well, And for Arknolia and myself, we will see you all this coming Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Arknolia and the Doctor. It's this time it'll be episode 33.
Right.
And our discussions will continue. We're going to be going into the later half of the 1960s up to the 70s there, and on and on and on and on.
Yeah, we've got a lot of ground to cover.
A lot of ground to cover there.
Okay.
You guys have a good one. And thank you, Super 100, for being part of this show. And see you again, Arknolia. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. All right. It was a good show there. I'm glad we got that out.
Yeah.